Welcome into the PML, guys. Happy Tuesday and good morning. We got all 4 sets to show you guys today. Really excited to see what we have in store. Of course, I am Fawn, but in the left corner, we have Kresnik.
It's actually right on the TV, Fawn.
Well, I mean, okay. Well, left to me. All right. I understood. You are correct. You are correct. It is right up on the screen. It is left in the seat, Kresnik. But, however, thank you guys for joining the both of us today. I'm excited for our very first set. We only really have 2 weeks left, this week included, for the PML. Next week is going to be the last week before we actually enter into qualifiers.
Yeah, and all these teams, I think, at least teams that have qualified are looking strong, but they're not uncontested. I mean, we've seen games traded back and forth across both sides of the sea, whether it be in EU or NA. EU going to be where we're starting today, but still, these teams very strong, and I'm definitely partial to the PML. I mean, these are all players that I've played against. And I know how strong they can be and how they all are kind of fighting to prove themselves and get into the PPL.
Agreed, yeah. We're going to look at the standings, of course, for EU. And here we go. All business already qualified, 8-2-13. Sour Team and Penta are going to be the first match we're looking at today. They are in 2nd seed and 3rd seed, respectively. Very last one being OTP in this case.
And Sour Penta, I mean, 5-5. You can't ask for a closer matchup. I mean, just a 3 map point differential between the two of them. And I believe the Penta, that was from their loss last week.
Yeah.
I'm assuming was that those 3 map differential, or did they?
I think last week it was the DQ situation. So I think
That's
last
true.
week Sour Team was the one that didn't actually show up. But they're here today.
Okay. Yeah,
That's
they are
what
here
matters.
today. And they're definitely here to play against Penta, a team that, I mean, last phase, this was the classic. This was the nail biter all the way to the end. You know, who knew what seed they were going to have? These two teams kind of always being able to take maps back and forth from each other. And I'm excited to see how they look today, even with the qualification already landed in. I mean, you want to still be able to prove yourself. You still want to play the game. This is the best practice you can get. Straight up.
Yeah, I mean, and it's some of the only practice left that you can actually get because of the fact that we are
For the qualifiers.
Yeah, exactly. Before the qualifiers is because the thing is that all business will be playing again today too. But the thing is that Sour Team and Penta, both respectively, still want to show their stuff. Still, like you were saying, Kresnik, want to prove who they are as a team, show off what it is that they can do, and of course, you still only got 2 weeks left, so you definitely got to make sure it counts.
Yeah, and I'm always excited to see Penta play again after their changes. The improvement they've had. I mean, we can't really say, I guess, improvement if we're comparing to their form at MSI, right? But still, the improvement they've had since making their changes, I've always liked to see how they've slowly gotten more synergistic. Lapadopoulos adapting to the PC environment. Hayes kind of having a comeback after. We didn't see him, I think, for a little while. So always happy to see those DPSs play, how that team syncs up, and happy to sink my teeth into this one.
Yeah, I am too. I mean, I'm really excited, of course, to jump into the game and see, I believe, where it is that we're going to end up going for map 1 in this case. But, map bans in this case, where we won't be going in this respective case. Frozen Guard, Bazaar actually is off the board. We haven't seen that banned in a while. Ice Mines and Splitstone Quarry. Once again, maps it is that we haven't seen in a while as well.
I'm surprised Split's banned, because a lot of teams have kind of been falling back to it.
Right,
And even though we haven't really seen Bazaar banned as much recently, teams aren't really picking it. It's kind of like that Timber sometimes. Like, you just don't ban Timber, and you're like, well, maybe we'll end up there. But neither of us really want to go.
Right.
That kind of situation.
Yeah, it's always surprising, especially where we're going to see we're going to end up going for map 1. It's going to be Shattered Desert this go around. Once again, people don't typically start on Shatter, so this will be really interesting. And previously, before, of course, I mean, like literally the Ice Mines and Splitstone Quarry map ban is also surprising, like it was that we were talking about before. But Shattered Desert is going to be the map that we're going to be going to for the very first game.
And Frozen banned and this being picked, I mean, they're different in some ways. This map is Frozen definitely a little bit more open than Shattered. Shattered has more cover just because of how hilly it is, all those natural rocks and things you can hide behind. But teams have kind of been lightening up to Shattered a lot. I think after it's been released, initially people were like, this map is so different, what do? We don't like it. Because, you know, when you're competing for so long, you're practicing, you want something that you're comfortable with. But people are kind of figuring it out, I think, finally liking it a little bit more, understanding how it's meant to be played, and that's why we're seeing it more and more. But some bans will work no matter how different the map is. Makoa and Atlas are gone, though on opposite sides, and Ash actually taken out by Penta. The map is pretty wide, so getting rid of that quick rotation off tank that can bully so hard, I think it's a smart ban by them.
Yeah, I agree with that. Sour Team are going to open up with a con. Penta are going to go for the Maeve Barrack, you got the Dome Shield, you have the Midnight, you have ways of covering ground to be able to not only cover ground in Maeve's case by using Midnight, but you've also got that sustainability that you have with Dome Shield to be able to keep anyone off of the point, but also be able to zone and completely area denial where people are trying to go. Furia Cassie, though, I like that. I like that a lot.
Scout and Inflame to deal with the Midnight when that's coming in could potentially be pretty effective. I mean, we know how good Scout is at countering Midnight. Obviously, it's effectively a hard counter. But Inflame, just once you see where they're coming from, they can't really peek with that bonus damage that you have. You can kite away a little bit harder, or depending on how the rest of the draft goes, they can go in a little bit more aggressively. Penta, notice no point tank on the other side so far, so let's just take both. Maybe we can play a little bit more stationary. Maeve is already kind of pokey as it is, so now they have some very potentially sustaining composition. They can lock down some areas and keep cycling on and off that point, which is normally something that isn't super easy on this map because of how open the point is.
Right. And speaking of that, actually, I mean, we were talking a little bit about point presence, how they lacked a point tank. Fernando being picked, his rise in point tank, really his, like the positioning it is that he has with the rise in point tank after the recent changes to his cards and the presence that he's been having. Talk a little bit about that. Talk a little bit about how exactly, you know, like Fernando, not necessarily Fernando got to the point it was that he's at, but how he's going to fare against this composition that Penta already have drafted. What do you think?
As long as they don't have Khan, he should be okay. I mean, they have Khan, so it's going to be fine. As long as you don't have that Commander Scab to break through the shield. This Vivian's going to make it a little bit harder. They could also pull out potentially Street Justice if they wanted to burst through those shields. It wouldn't be too bad, but I think they're going to need the Cat Burglar bonus damage. Either way, that record from the Vivian's going to make it a little tougher. I would give the advantage to Penta, but if Sour Team have good inflames, they could make it work.
Well, here we go, guys. After their little week off in this case, Sour Team already back to play in Game 1.
You're very right, Fawn and Krez. Sour Team versus Penta. And Gore, this is actually a pretty fun matchup, I think.
Oh, yeah.
Europe as a minor league region was closer this split than I really remember it being in the last split. So, you know, all business locked in, coming to that qualifier week here, and it's what, 2-3 weeks away now at this point.
Yeah.
But Sour Team and Penta, always some fun to watch these two go toe-to-toe.
These guys have been going, well, toe-to-toe for months now. I mean, all year. This has really been the story, although you look at Penta, they've been kind of shaken up from top to bottom, brought in different rosters due to, what, 3-4 players getting called up in the Premier League. So having a little bit of issues there. Now they've been able to kind of find their footing. Sour Team, in a remarkable change of pace, kind of fell down. I mean, everyone, at least I kind of assumed that after MSI, after Penta kind of had all their players disappear, Sour Team was just going to become kind of the de facto #1. They were going to be qualified for LAN somehow 4 weeks in. They were just going to know.
Right.
And that didn't happen. I mean, all business has kind of taken the region by storm.
They just sort of came out of nowhere, to be honest with you. That's sort of what I referenced. This has never been that contested. All business in split 1 was, you know, in some ways the punching bag of the region, but not this time. Sour Team off on the wrong foot here. Double kill for Slopodopoulos. He's certainly come into his own on this Penta roster. Doing the same here, not on the point right now. There they go. Getting themselves 66% and climbing up here. One final zone on Sour Team will grab them point #1.
I love Slopodopoulos' transition. I think watching him as a player and kind of grow has been just fun and remarkable to be able to see him kind of go from, admittedly, not one of the best console teams to one of the best console teams to now one of the stronger minor league teams that we have. Still trying to climb to become one of the best in the minor league. Maybe he keeps that grind going, becomes one of the best in the Premier League at some point in his future. It's also been interesting seeing it happen kind of alongside this team. I mean, a lot of history that exists for Penta right now. And it's fun mentioning all of that, like how long these players have been playing. And we're on one of the newest maps in the game, and they're still making it look really good from both sides.
And getting to watch Perdo as well on the Strix. Always a treat. And it's got Sour Team off on the right foot here as Penta all the way back in their base looking to respawn. Payload moving backwards. We did see a couple backdoors both on the same map yesterday. Maybe not quite as potent of a possibility on Shattered Desert. Some ultimates, though, starting to fly. Dread Serpent from Bolka started it off, and Penta finally breaking out of their own base. Good stun as well from Bolka, and grabs himself the kill. Payload finally starting to move forward. This is a map that somewhat quick. You have plenty of time with 1 minute and 15 seconds left.
Oh yeah, being able to come through. Granted, they got stalled at, I would maybe argue that there are 2 parts of this map that are very difficult. The beginning and kind of getting started is going to be hard, but then once you open up kind of towards the end, unless you are just dominating, it's going to be difficult. And with an Inflame there, Sour Team are looking like a good little bit of a defense, at least to stall things out. It's going to push back Penta, but it doesn't necessarily stop the payload. Ovum's just been sitting on it this entire time.
Moving it forward. Penta are definitely better off for it. They have a Midnight. Slapidopoulos finding a couple of kills is a great way to keep things marching forward. Look at the death timers. 5 seconds left now. Heavily staggered out. All that's left is Perdo. He needs a miracle play here. Penta are going to march this one in. Unless there's a last-ditch dash forward looking for it. He does end up grabbing it. Sheba absolutely destroyed, though. Another double kill from Slop to round out this round. Penta, after an early stall, grabbed themselves point number 2.
And being able to find that, that's one of those moments that could be broken down. Ineffable, I think, popped Inflame at the latest time that you could pop it while still having a good chance of charging it back. They didn't get anything off the Inflame for starters, but then you follow it up immediately with the fact that when it finally got to the push where Inflame would have helped, he had already used it. It had gone down. I think they used it just a little bit, a smidge early in the round. And honestly, that has kind of hurt them. It also doesn't help that Slapidopoulos is undying as of right now and just kind of burning through everybody. Same thing for Ovum. Or, sorry, 7-1-4 there for Slop.
Yeah.
Undying for Ovum and Bolka. Shows where the problem, I think, is lying. Right now, it seems to be this Vivian.
Yeah, you don't want one death on a Vivian on the enemy team, that's for sure. And Slapidopoulos done a good job of staying alive. Let's get stunned out there. William Birkin into the Immortal, keeps himself and his team alive behind him. And they grab the first blood of this round on Nicorio, but Ovum right back to the point core. Grab themselves 27% and are going to reinforce back to 5 here in just a moment.
And just being able to kind of set themselves up, they fall back. They've only used Dread Serpent so far. Every ult, save for the Inflame that's about to come up, and the Scout that's still available is going to be there. And a rare moment of Scout for CC immunity from Uber's Payday. Doesn't really help him too much. It's just a slaughter.
Yeah, wow. All of the ultimates start to cascade from Penta. Seismic Crash starts it off. An attempted Inflame. You'd sort of mentioned that going into the round. It did come back up right then. They tried to use it a bit defensively, but did not work out. Penta roll right on through Sour Team. They're going to grab themselves their 3rd point of the game. This is a totally different look. Sour Team are way back on defense already.
I mean, being able to get shoved back that far this fast, probably more of a good sign for Penta than it is anything. Being able to come through. A lot of work. I mean, I'm sure if we asked Ovum, he is, you know, the, I would say, premier trainer of the minor league. He is such a good frontline player.
Yeah.
But due to visa issues, moving issues, what have you, has never been able to kind of escalate up into the Premier League.
Right.
Even the one time, it was, you know, you go back way when Elven Path needed 4 new teammates because he kicked 4 of his teammates, he pulled up everyone but Ovum because Ovum would have filled his own personal spot. And so there's been times where pretty much Ovum has almost always been left behind, but he is always training the new elite European players. It's ridiculous.
And, he's much of the same here. 3 double-digit streaks for Penta. Ovum is one of them at 13. Slapidopoulos at 12 as well. They have not had a good answer for this Vivian Sour Team throughout this game. 7 minutes in, already 3-0. Penta won't feel too pressured to convert this one right away. But if you can, that's just some icing on the cake.
I mean, being able to make this a nice 4-0 would be clean for them. A minute left, and Hayes is already starting this one off with a kill. Ults are starting to come back up for Penta, which is going to cause a lot of trouble for Sour Team.
That's a big trade back from Sheepa. Forces the rocket boots out of Corio, but shot. Just a couple of those little stone spears from Ovum is enough to clean up Sheepa into the Immortal for William Birkin. That's going to stall things out, but they're just going to ignore him and go to the back line. And now that William Birkin is gone, nobody from Sour Team in range to contest. Payload rolling on in, and Penta find their way to a 4-0 win.
That was just clean. A lot of what they did relied heavily. I mean, you have an undying support, an undying front line. That's already a deadly combination when it comes to objective capture. And then Slop he got touched once. They killed him once, and that was the only time they were able to kind of figure it out. A lot of inflames that didn't amount to anything for Sour Team. The aggression was maybe just not quite there to fight back into Penta. And so Penta, they take this map decisively because of, I would argue, how well Slop does.
You know, it's interesting, Gore, talking about Slop. This is a conversation we've had, you know, most times that Penta are playing. But, you know, he was console league, now into the minor league. He's kind of kept a lot of that console meta here in the minor league.
Yeah.
He is always playing, you know, Tyra, Victor, Vivian. Honestly, that's kind of been his core. And he plays it so well. 78,000 damage, 12, 1, and 7. A couple undying on Penta as well. But Slopadopoulos, as you point out, kind of the tip of the spear, despite having an Inara on your team. Having that Vivian just to blow down the door is huge for Penta.
And a lot of it, I mean, there are several moments, and this is going to be difficult, I think, for me to process, but I kind of like Vivian. Like, if you can get a Vivian rolling like this, I feel like she does better than a Ruckus. That's winning. You know what I mean? I feel like she just wins a little harder when she's winning, which is kind of the whole goal. I mean, she's pretty glass cannon. You kill her almost instantly if you can get her under the damage.
Right.
But she will blow you up if you let her free. And, you know, with triple kill right there, a lot of opening kills for Slopadopoulos. That was kind of what it was just as long as we keep this guy alive, we cannot lose, because that is pretty much our strategy. Is just Ovum can't die, he's on the point. Slop can't die, he's killing anybody who would contest Ovum.
Well, it's Tuesday morning, and it looks like Penta have come to play. Sour Team, look for an answer back in Game 2 right after this break.
Paladins Minor League is brought to you by Evo Mojo Games, developers of Paladins.
Welcome back, guys. 1-0 for Penta already. It's Tuesday morning, but that doesn't stop Penta from winning at all, despite how early it may have been. They're doing extremely well already, and you give the console player the Vivian, you give him the hit scan, and clearly they're going to farm.
You call him Cropadopoulos because he was farming. Absolutely. Really solid play from them. I loved the composition that they pulled out. I talked about the lockdown, having that point tank, and the Vivian ended up working out great into the Nando. Those Immortals just were all right. They bought time, but if you're only buying time and not really executing on top of that, it's not going to work out. You have to be a little bit more proactive with Nando, I think, to make him work in that point tank role.
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense, too. I mean, of course, from that, I feel like just the fact that they had the Inara and they had the Barrack, it was a lot harder for them to deal with. But, of course, we're going to see where they're going to be going for Game 2, or at least for Map 2, to see how Penta are going to either keep their momentum or how Sour Team are going to try and sweep it away from them.
And Jaguar Falls is a map where you can kind of slow things down a little bit if you want. It could go either way. Anything can happen here, but a lot of rotation potential on this map too. You can play one side, slow them down. You could just run away. A lot of different options for the map in general. We'll have to see how the bands go, see where they end up deciding to play style-wise.
You know, Willow first, not surprising. Genos, also not surprising. In certain situations, you could definitely go for the Genos ban. Same thing for Alice and Makoa. Pretty much, we just see them gone all the time. And that is no surprise there for the bans. But Penta, this time around, are going to lock in the con, I believe, once again, for themselves and see how they're going to try and handle it. But Sour Team, man, with these responses, it's kind of hard.
Well, it was the other way around. Sour Team had first pick last time, so Penta now are the ones picking up the con. Inara Ash response from Sour, pretty solid tank line for this map. Inara, good. The wall potential on this map is pretty high. You can block off basically any single entrance, similar to Brightmarsh in that sense. Any map where you can absolutely completely deny any objective potential, any retouch potential specifically, is very effective. That's where you want to be pulling her out. And Ash, of course, I mean, having a lot of rooms you can fight in, which means quick fire, assert dominance is one of the best ways to use it, bringing out that instant CC. On the other side, though, Penta get the BK, so that's one of the decent counters to Khan kind of out of the picture. And Grover, fantastic healer on this map. Healing through walls is a huge part of it. Not having to put yourself in danger to save your team if they're playing inside those tight little rooms.
Agreed. I mean, Leon, Furia, both of these characters being hovered. One of them is going to end up being locked. The hit scan presence is going to play a very big role against Penta, against the Bomb King, but it is Jack Fall, so it'll be hard for her to find that sort of cover, that ground it is that she wants to actually have, or at least try and create that distance for herself. Vivian on Penta's side once again, and Barrick to close that out. Furia on Sour Team's side, though, I mean, it's kind of hard to say that a Furia would not be able to make something work, regardless of the team composition.
Yeah, the aggression from the Inflame potential, I think, is what Penta and Slop specifically on Vivian have to look out for. The Ashe Inflame dive onto them, that's going to be hard to slow down, I would say. And now that they have this Victor potentially coming up for Sour Team, that's also a strong wrecker. Burst Mode Victor does a lot of shield damage, and Barrick and Khan are very shield dependent. So if this Victor can get away with not getting pressured, if the Khan BK don't walk at this Victor, I think Sour Team have the edge here.
Yeah, I agree with that too. I mean, Victor going to be locked in lastly for Sour Team. Once again, can Penta continue their momentum, or will Sour Team be able to snatch it away from them in this game too?
Well, I think both teams have a pretty good draft, Fawn, and Gore, you said you wanted yourself some Bomb King on this map, and here you go. You get it for Penta.
I love Bomb King on Jack Falls. I just think it works really well. I love Bomb King in general. I think he brings a lot of different fighting style to the game and play style to make him work. Although at the end of the day, I guess everybody works as shoot them dead. His is just a little more intricate sometimes than shoot them dead. Whereas two champions that are in this game, actually three, honestly, between the Leon, the Vivian, and the Victor, are quite literally shoot them dead. And it looks like coming into it was Shrapnel hanging out there for Victor, which is going to be able to give him a little bit more explode radius on his grenade. And again, part of the reason I actually really love this is because of this map. The reason Bomb King works here is the same reason that Shrapnel could be very good here. Everyone's in a tight-knit corridor. A bigger grenade radius means more resets, more grenades, more damage, and honestly, just easier to confirm kills.
And he is kind of hanging out around that backside. You sort of see that Victor silhouette just trying to choose his moment to re-engage. Spady tosses out the grenade down to 33 HP, but stays alive, gets himself some healing passively and thanks to his healer. Tosses out a couple more, being very far zoned out though. Look how aggressive Coriel's getting. 85 health, double digits one more time. All right, we'll finish it off. Slopodopoulos back on the Vivian, back on the double kill game. Penta grabbed themselves 66%. Sour Team, though, thanks to William Birkin, are going to get themselves the kind of last laugh on this first fight.
Being able to kind of not necessarily match it, but get pretty close up. Also, Solar Blessing Fury is something that Ineffable has still been running the last few weeks. Not something too common nowadays, considering how much communication it takes and how difficult it is, I think, to make it work in the long run. But more healing than any Inara is ever going to need. More healing than anyone's ever going to need. Yep. Unfortunately, right there, you could see the moment and the reason it's not picked up too often. You don't hit the target, they don't get the heal.
And this is going to be a dangerous game for Sour Team if Hayes and Slopodopoulos are both starting to fire off at the same time. You know, Hayes sort of a quiet Shattered Desert where Slopodopoulos dying once, 12 kills, kind of pushed Penta forward, but a couple double kills from both of the damage dealers for Penta this time around have them with point number one in this game. A Bomb King and a Vivian. Pretty star-studded combination to have doing damage for you.
Especially in the setup they have. I mean, Vivian, we always kind of talk about her ultimate. I don't want to say it's lackluster, but it just augments the damage she has. And you can actually see here, Slop, one of his Sentinels has been destroyed, even though he's at 27%. So he only has a little bit of bonus damage instead of the big amounts that we typically see. But between the two of them, that's a deadly combination. Vivian with Sentinels out, with a King Bomb being able to find a stun, that absolutely can decimate anyone and any target that it comes through. If someone gets stunned by that, they're going to be feeling the pain.
Hayes is just waiting for the right moment here to use that King Bomb. Might not need it. Payload moving its way on in. William Birkin out of base to try to get in contest range. Is going to get there just for a second. Hayes finds the kill, though. 3 minutes and 45 seconds into this game. Penta are off to a 2-0 start, and there's only 3 deaths on their board, Gore.
I'd love to be able to pick the brain of Ineffable and Sour Team in general and just wonder, because I'll be honest, they're the only team that I have seen since Cherish was buffed that are still picking Solar Blessing. They've done it pretty regularly, too. Not just like, oh, hey, it's one game this week. Maybe they're just trying it out again. This has been like a regular occurrence for them, and I'm really wondering why. If it makes sense, I will admit I missed and kind of have fully forgotten what it's like seeing that full health bar reset, which is always a great feeling. But until you get Chronos really 2, you don't have any real consistent amount of healing. Your Restore Soul isn't going to be able to do too much. And so there's a lot that it's going to be missing, and I think the reason you can see this Victor is 0-4. I mean, Uber Spady is just picked on. There's no way to heal him.
I love this flank from Penta as well. Uber Spady catches one too many bombs. And Hayes starts off this re-engage. Slapidopoulos finishes it off as well. Everyone from Sour Team starting to crumble. What an aggressive push that was from Penta through that left-hand room.
I will always, at this point, admire how well they are holding on to their ults, because there were like 4 times in that where I'm like, I just want a King Bomb.
King Bomb.
Not
King
even
Bomb.
like they're winning the fight. They don't need it. I just think this would be really cool. Why don't do it? And that is part of the reason that they're going to be able to kind of dominate this fight. In the event of a recapture, as Sour Team come and try to move forward here, that King Bomb still being available might be able to kind of save the day if Sour Team start to look like they're going to take control of the objective.
Could be a moment. William Birkin is kind of where this hinges on for me. If that Inara goes down, the rest of it might just fall as well. Aggressive push from Sheepa. Here's the King Bomb from Hayes, starting to roll on in. Catches Sheepa out with the stun. Going to grab himself the kill. As Coriel gets another kill, make it a double. One onto Ineffable, one onto the damage dealer, Uber Spady. Sour Team crumbles one last time and one more time. Penta are going to add a 1 to their scoreboard.
I do not know what you're supposed to do when the 2 DPS players are going insane, but then you also have a Khan in your face that is going insane. Like, I mean, he's been confirming kills on his own on the sides here. A lot of good damage for him, 30,000. But yeah, 5-0-8 for Coriel. It's not just the damage, it's the conversions that he's getting for it as well. And now, you said 3 rounds coming into, or 3 deaths coming into this round. They've got 4 now. They were able to take down Slop, and that's it.
Gore, this may be the best form of this Penta roster we've somehow seen this split. I mean, we have seen some great games out of them, but nothing quite this dominating, especially against Sour Team. These 2 teams have played so closely with one another week in and week out, and they're knocking on the door of a 4-0. After a 4-0 in game number 1, a seismic crash from William Birkin's going to try to stall it out. He's going to get himself that max healing amount, so there's a moment where that particular talent on Ineffable does make some sense, and Flame as well to try to keep this defense going. Health bars, though, going down. William Birkin, maybe the last one trying to stay alive as Ovim rocket boots his way out. Vulcan does grab a kill, though. That's important. That might be just enough to keep Sour Team back in base. Perdo back and respawning. Nobody left alive to contest, and Penta follow up a 4-0 with one more 4-0.
Yeah, I mean, being able to find that 8-0 so far this set, not something they've been able to do against Sour Team yet, but this is, I will say, the star that comes with that. Sour Team like winning from 2-0 deficits.
Yeah.
They, for some reason, just always go to 5. They always win 3, but it's the last 3, not the first 2. And it's very similar, like I was saying, Hype Unit. Hype Unit always win their sets, but they always do it in like 4 or 5. Like they've very rarely done it in 3. Sour Team in a similar vein. And there's a lot of cool damage numbers. There's a lot of cool slash lines coming out of this. But the one thing that impressed me the most has to have been the fact that Hayes, from when he kind of got back onto this team and kind of came back into the minor league scene, this was the first time he felt the way I remember him playing, right? It was very solid Bomb King play, very, very good for the team as a whole to really open that door. And again, 2 undying members really helps you seal the deal.
Yeah, 2 deaths is your max. 1 and double zeros for the other 2 on Penta. I mean, I don't know. I think this is nothing short of just kind of a decimation. I mean, Penta, they got the damage dealers they wanted, the aggression from their off tanks on the front line. And then Bulk, I mean, the kind of tried and true cliche is that if you can't kill the healer enough, you're going to have a hard time winning. If you can't kill him at all, I don't know what the win rate is on that.
Honestly, I think it showcases more so how dominant the team is winning.
Agreed.
Like, if they win 4-0, but you have this Grover dying 8 times, then it was a hard-fought. Like, you can look at that stat and be like, oh, yeah, this was a hard-fought win. When their healer hasn't died once, then you see 4-0, you're like, oh, they stomped you. Like, that's how that happened, and they just ran through. That's kind of a lot of what it was. This Bomb King definitely played his role as well. Held on to the King Bomb for a long time once he charged up. I think I only saw one throughout that entire game.
Yeah.
But it was at the perfect time where it's just like, hey, Sheepa's in the back line, and he's causing trouble. We got to get rid of him.
Yeah, this is a scary-looking Penta. They're now almost on their way to a 3-0 in 12-0 map or point count fashion. Let's see if Sour Team can try to find an answer, try to find a single point in Game 3 right after this break.
Respawn, the official gaming chair of the Paladins Minor League.
Welcome back, guys. Already 8 straight well, not 8 straight rounds. I say really 8 straight points in a row that Penta have been able to accrue against Sour Team. They haven't really found their chance at life. They haven't really found their momentum, but hopefully this game in Game 3, they'll be able to do so. Because, I mean, Penta, they're on a roll right now. For sure.
Yeah, I mean, the Sour Team, they tried to slow him down with the Inara Solar Blast thing. I felt like the sustain they were able to get out of that was pretty solid, but it just wasn't enough to withstand the onslaught of pressure that Penta were bringing. Haze on that BK was just putting on so much pressure, I think, on the side. So hard to get away from on Jaguar Falls. There's really nowhere you can go.
Yeah.
And Spady not running burst mode, I think, kind of lowered the dueling potential against the BK, forced him to give up that fight more often than not.
Yeah, Slop on the Vivian, again, was able to at least keep that Victor sort of pinned down. Whatever pressure BK was putting on, Vivian was just able to literally just stack right on top of that. They were able to pretty much hold those corners, hold those long hallways that Jaguar has, pretty much hold the rooms, whether it be BK that was doing it or Vivian together. It was a little bit too strong for them to deal with.
We'll have to see where they want to go now that Jag's kind of out of the picture. We saw 2 very different maps. We'll see what style of map we're going to end up on next, where they want to play. And Sour Team lose 0-4 on Jag, but they want to play something similar. Bright Marsh, it is a little bit more snowbally, so maybe if they think they can get their feet under themselves, they might be able to flip it around and maybe change the momentum of this set.
Yeah, this is going to be interesting because it's the same type of, it's not the same type, but a similar map to what we had just saw, Jaguar Falls. Yeah. And we're going to see the fact that, I mean, Bright Marsh is going to have probably not necessarily the exact same, but maybe some of the same picks. We could see another BK. We could see another, exactly, yeah, that too. I mean, they got rid of the Cassie for sure. Yeah. So yeah, that's definitely going to open up a huge window of opportunity. Same thing for the Barrack ban too. So this will be interesting. I do like the Barrack ban in response to the Cassie though, for sure.
Probably going to be, my guess would be Sour picks Atlas, Penta go. Oh, they're going Makoa first. Okay. I was going to say you could force Penta to go Makoa and Nara, and then you could take, I guess, Cassie's banned, but you could end up with like a Sky, get a cheeky draft. Sour's not afraid to do that kind of thing, but they think the Makoa is a little bit more valuable in the Atlas, giving Penta now most likely in our Atlas to take the last remaining point tank and take the one of the 2 most powerful tanks that are still available in the Atlas. That would not surprise me if that's where they decide to go, but I guess I could see why Sour would want to do this. No shielding on the team
Right.
if they go with an Inara Atlas composition, so no wreckers needed. And you could maybe just play some strong backlines and just hope that you can kind of out-pressure them, not give them a chance to get into you, because they really don't have a great way to close that distance.
Yeah, they've got a lot of powerful sustainability on Penta's side as well. I mean, that divider, that's going to cover a lot of ground, especially on a map like Bright Marsh, where there's not really a lot of space to be moving anyway. Sort of similar to Jag. It's one of the smaller maps, so you'll see that divider play a pretty big role coming into this matchup. They're going for the Grover, though, and the BK. Mentioned the BK before, said that we could see similar picks this go around. We see it right here. They're going for the Grover. They're going for the BK, as far as I can see so far. Yep.
And BK's solid. Grover's good on this map because of, again, a lot of walls you can kind of heal around. Also, decent angles through windows and stuff you can chuck axes through, get some respectable damage on your side. Any support that can do things other than healing. Very valuable, especially if they can continue to output healing unaffected by the other things that you're doing. Bomb King, also solid on this map, good at kind of splashing through windows on the push to the final point to capture the payload. Also pretty good pushing from the far side of the apartments where your off-tank would normally be playing. You can throw bombs onto the roof and splash people hiding around the corner there. So a lot of pressure that he puts on from pretty far away, which is something that BK normally isn't great at doing. But this map is set up in a way that he can kind of get away with it.
Yeah, Tyra Maldamba so far. I mean, you've got the Tyra, you've got the Hunter's Mark, so that can definitely clear up a lot of space in case Penta decide to take a fight that they want to. That will probably end up with Sour Team dying, especially because Hunter's Mark can play a big role. Burn Monster too, and we have seen Mercy kill before. The Maldamba to be able to keep up that Inara sustainability as well, is that's going to be a pretty big factor, especially on the point fights for sure.
It's a gap closer too. Speed Spirits, I think, is also why they picked it up, having that speed boost you can give to any of your tanks. I talked about how they might struggle to find a way in.
In this game,
That kind of makes up for it. Having
having
that speed just to cross gaps faster, take a little bit less damage. Could be pretty solid. Leon and potentially Nando. Maybe Nando for sure. For Sour Team coming in. And Nando, I'm not sure how he's going to do against the pressure from Inara Atlas. I think it's going to depend on how well... Honestly, I think it's going to want to depend on how well they hit those Deja Vus. If they can splash around his shield, that CC is almost as effective as Khan. With Drogoz on their side against a Leon, honestly, this might be more onto that matchup. I say it's between Atlas Nando, Leon Drogoz, whoever performs better should take this map.
I agree with that too. I mean, Penta 2-0, 8 straight points already. Will they get the young 12-0? We can only see that in Game 3.
Well, Sour Team one more time have drafted themselves. I'd say pretty good draft. Goremizer, Penta have just been playing lights out in the 2 previous games today. Looking just to get something going now is Sour Team. 2 very aggressive compositions built here. We finally get to see Atlas and Makoa, 1 for each team.
Yeah, being able to come through in general is kind of remarkable for either of those champions, but this is going to be kind of the testament. And the conversation should fall on which one does better. And, well, if this stays true, my eyes are looking towards Makoa. Temporal Divide, I like, but I don't... actually, against the Grover and the Bomb King, I don't mind it as much. Although, I will say, the biggest issue I always have with this is the cooldown that comes through. It is one of the longest cooldowns you are going to have. Granted, it's going to cover the entire map when you do it like that. But it's just not enough to save you, I think, as much as you think.
Oh, no. Perdo. It's Christmas morning for him. He walks around the corner to 3 low-health members of Penta. He makes good. 4 kills out of the 5 that his team has. Slapidopoulos grabs 1 for Penta. It's our team. They came to play here on Bright Marsh, and now they're zoning for their first point of this set.
A nice hook already as well. Gonna set it up so Ovum's feeling some trouble. Corio gonna have to use a second chance once again. It's already 72% on the point for Sour Team, and they're having trouble just getting back to the objective, let alone actually into the mid fight to get there and contest.
Well, they have 96% for Sour Team. Doesn't look like anyone's in range at the moment. They do get the overtime. It is slowly starting to go down, though. Uber Spady trying to spread out some of that damage. Hayes maybe the one who has to fly on in there. King Bomb could be the big zoning tool here. Good second chance from Penta to avoid a lot of that damage, but Uber Spady with the good follow-up. It's really just Ovum now on the point, and he's getting shot away, and the Whirlwind is going to help the rest of Sour Team run away with this fight. And for the first time this set, Sour Team grabbed themselves a point.
12-0 dreams are dashed away with that one. Sour Team looking to try and hold on. Again, it's something too surprising considering how I see them win most of their sets. It's usually from a 2-0 deficit. But it is a little surprising to see it come through. I'm not sure I'm sold on the temporal divide just yet, but I'm not sold on it, if that makes any sense, where it's just, it still has its merits. But I'm telling you, 5 seconds of uptime for a wall that big versus 22 seconds, I believe, downtime. You've got to make some serious plays with an ability like that in order to showcase how strong it can be.
Yeah. And I think this is the Penta that we just saw in this defense that we had been seeing in the last couple of games. Kind of the big snowball-y team fight, great seismic crash into the crossfire. Dread Serpent used just a couple moments prior. Everything from Penta firing right now on defense. Sour Team do have some ultimates to retake, though. Erdo back on the Leon. Started off with 4 kills in this game. Helped secure his team their first point. Dragon Punch used now from Hayes to try to keep things going in their favor. Uber Spady's gonna Poppy Bomb backwards, trade out the kill. But it's healer for Dragon is the way that one goes.
I think a lot of it's going to depend, first off, Uber Spady having a really good game so far, 7th streak here on the Bomb King, but also looking at the kind of person he's going to be going head-to-head with. The other blaster, Hayes, not quite having the best Drogo's game. And, well, a lot of that is, in fact, to what you had said and kind of started that off with. Perdo, 5-1-1, being able to kind of shut him down for the 2-2-2 slash line that Hayes has picked up. They're just keeping him under lock, and as long as they can keep doing that, I don't know if Penta will step above and beyond.
Doesn't look like they're going to be able to at the moment. Hayes grabbed a kill and gets out with his life. But Sour Team rolls right on through the rest, looking just as convincing as Penta have in the last couple of games. Now, though, is Sour Team in this one. Uber Spady at 506, Perdo at 621. Damage dealers getting it done now for Sour Team. Setback onto Perdo is going to put him right back into the waiting arms. Immortal as well is going to keep Sour Team on the front foot in this fight. Sheepa finds the first blood, the Grumpy Bomb on the outside of the shield. Good seismic crash from Ovim. Could give Penta the room that they need in order to win this fight, but there's just too much resilience from Sour Team. Not the item, just staying alive throughout everything. The sustain, too much. They grab themselves point number 2.
That being said, depending on how this round goes with their buys, wouldn't be too surprised to see some resilience actually coming through. And maybe altering things for them. A very, very good beginning of the round for Perdo. And it doesn't seem like they ever recovered from that. And I'm going to have to go up a tree that's been different. We've been talking a lot of praise for Slop and Coriel these last couple of games, even Ovim. And they are not hitting the same marks this time around. And whether you want to take that as Uber Spady, Sheepa, and Perdo kind of just knocking it out of the park, or if you want to look at it as this Atlas not hitting, I think, as hard as it could or should in these cases. There's a lot of ways to slice it, but at the end of the day, Sour Team are coming out ahead because of it.
Well, now they do have the resilience, the actual item. Only one level 2 on Uber Spady, but level 1 for everyone else. Difference maker, seismic crash, Dread Serpent, even the setback from Penta, all affected. So something to keep an eye on. Sheepa into the Ancient Rage, swinging away onto the front line of Penta, and Hayes goes down as well off screen to Perdo. Uber Spady continuing his tear now on a 14 streak for the Bomb King. This is another clean team fight from Sour Team, and use the Whirlwind, they use the Ancient Rage, still have an Enlightenment, and halfway there on the other two. This is looking good for Sour.
Already being able to control this kind of zone, well, it doesn't get broken easily or often unless you have something like an Eevee or a Maeve that can maybe slip to the back line and cause a lot of trouble. And, well, much like you'd expect, they are locked in their base. Penta can't touch the objective and can't do anything to contest it.
A Sour Team looking for a 4-0 of their own on Bright Marsh. Could occur here on this one final push. If it's going to be a 4-0, it will occur here on this final push. Penta do have some ultimates, considered all 5 ready if they want to really push back Sour Team. Like for now, they're going to try to do that. Dragon Punch, Dread Serpent, Seismic Crash, everything flying. As you'd expect, they're going to win this fight. Big triple kill for Hayes. They sold the house for that one, and now with 1 minute and 45 seconds left, they only have the Exiles to defend with.
They can just hold out for another minute 45, which It's an eternity on Bright Marsh to be able to find a defense that long. It's going to be solid for them. Hayes being able to find a triple kill again, coming back into his own. Slop needs to start picking up a little bit. And I think Penta are still very much in this. But I'm going to harp on it. As much as I think there's some merits against the Bomb King for this temporal divide, I think it all falls apart when you kind of look at the merits that you'd get if instead you had something like Deja Vu. I mean, even right there, you know, the wall goes down and Uber Spadey's like, cool, now I'll just kill you. I'll just wait 5 seconds before I do it, and then all of a sudden, what are you going to do about it? If you had something to kind of set him back, maybe control him, corral him, it even works helping reset shields on their side. There's just a lot of merits to Deja Vu that I think outweigh this temporal divide pickup. And Goriel is maybe learning it the hard way.
Yeah, I mean, I guess there's moments where it's made a big difference, but
they're only for 5-second windows.
They're only a little bit here and there. Penta do have their ultimates back, so over the last minute, they've been able to charge up most of them. William Birkin into the Immortal is going to try to prevent Sour Team from getting staggered out here at a critical juncture of this offensive push, but it looks like Penta are in a pretty good spot if they can convert just a couple of these pokes, full-blown kills. Immortal does wear out. Perdo set back, but not into any real danger. William Birkin getting aggressive, gets the kill onto Coriel now from long range. Perdo trying to fire away. Uber Spady around this left-hand side, caught out by the Dread Serpent, but nothing's flying right now for Penta. Hayes flies in, but gets cleaned up by Perdo. The hook from Sheepa is going to be enough to kill off Slopodopoulos. No more damage dealers, no more frontline. No more time as Sour Team grab themselves a 4-0.
I mean, it's a slugfest, right?
Yeah,
I mean, you get 2 4-0s right at the beginning, and then Sour Team comes back with an uppercut to make sure they just knock down Penta one time before things go. They're still backs against the wall, but that was beautifully executed. And again, there were a lot of times, I think the person who would have this match the hardest would have been Uber Spady, because that temporal divide was pretty much picked up because Grumpy Bomb gets nullified through it, his bombs get nullified through it, most of his kit gets nullified through it, and yet he was still able to rack up 84,000 damage because it was only up for so long. It just left the door wide open for him to run through.
This is the first time we've really seen Sour Team's stats all looking better than what Penta has. 17 streak is the highest in the game for Uber Spady, with Ineffable down at 12, a good 30 or so thousand healing higher than what Bolka was able to provide to the rest of his team as well. Perdo at 85,000 damage, Uber Spady at 85,000 damage. Hayes was able to keep pace, but those kill confirms just weren't there. Everyone on Sour Team getting involved in the killing game in one way or another. As you see a couple goose eggs for Penta.
I mean, I think it's also very interesting to see Perdo ending at 10 when 5 of those were at the beginning of the game. So he got 5 more through 3 more points of the game. But 10-3 at 11, 8-4 and 9 for Sheepa. The Makoa definitely paid dividends. But Uber's Payday played this patiently and played this well. Several times, temporal divide, if it comes up, he just kind of backs off of it and recognizes where he needs to be. But also just solid aggression on Bomb King. I mean, recognizing when to hit the gas pedal and not caring about a lot of it. Good movement, good positioning, good kills.
And I also note, Ineffable, there were 34 kills in this game for Sour Team. Ineffable participated one way or another in about 30 of them. So big plays from the healer as well. But Uber Spady, you pointed it all out. The mobility is not really something you think about with the Bomb King, but the poppy bombs aggressively, defensively, all throughout that game. And Kresnik kind of pointed it out on the desk, as it's, you know, it's kind of the Fernando and the Bomb King, Hayes and the Atlas on Penta. Whoever wins that battle may win the game, and Sour Team won both. Well, you got ourselves 12 points, but Sour Team now have 4 of them and a win under their belt. Time to find out if they can tie up this series right after this.
INAP, powering the control room for the Paladins minor league.
Sour Team did it. They didn't get 12-0'd. Congratulations to them for being able to actually take their first game, or really their first map in the set on Bright Marsh. Hopefully they can carry some of that momentum into the next few games, Kresnik.
Yeah, I guess Bright Marsh was the right pick for them in terms of flipping things around. They were definitely able to snowball that pretty hard into that in our Atlas. BK, I think, being a pretty big part. We showed that as the highlight. Uber Spady, solid performance. Good use of the timing on the King Bomb, too. I loved how he jumped. He used it right when that Temporal Divide was coming in so that he could just basically counteract it. They didn't want to go through. He didn't have to worry about getting stopped at all by it because can't really get stopped by it. Only projectiles more or less go away. So good aggressive King Bomb there, plus that fadeaway shot at the end. Either way, good performance by Sour Team. Definitely to carry it forward, but being down 2-0 means that every map pick from here on out isn't going to be theirs. It's going to be Penta's choice for the rest of the time.
Exactly, and we're going to see where Penta are going to go for what could be still the final game. It's going to be Stone Keep, and that's going to be a map that's going to, once again, we could see another game with BK in it, which is the point of this I'm trying to make.
And I wouldn't be shocked. I mean, these zony style of blasters have been, I think, pretty effective in this meta currently. Willow being so consistently banned, BK is kind of a follow-up. Like, it's the secondary, we need a blaster that will control an area. BK does it a little bit differently in terms of air bursting rather than ground detonation, but still that direct deny this choke point kind of style is pretty helpful right now. Power tanks off the board again. Maeve banned for Sour Team, so maybe Eevee will be a high priority for them once we get to their picks, but Penta want Inara for Ovim, and even after that loss, I still felt like he was putting on a fantastic performance on Inara.
And I guess this is going to bring up the question it is that I have for you is why not deny Ovim the Inara? Why not force him onto something else, something he's less comfortable with?
He's just as comfortable on basically everything else. That's the problem. Okay. He had a great performance on Inara, but I mean, even his barrack is still fantastic. Ovim is just such a phenomenal tank player. I don't think there's really a way to choke him out unless you just deny point tanks in general and force them onto either a double off tank. Just because it's a different style change, he'll still perform well, but it's more just getting rid of the ability to contest the objective so consistently, more or less. So then in our first pick, Sour Team end up with BK Ashe, which is actually a fantastic combo to push the upper side of Stone Keep. Not the mid fight, but once you're trying to convert the payload, contesting that top right or top left area around the corners, BK and Ashe with their indirect damage, so impactful at kind of just pushing off tanks that are hugging that corner out of that hold.
Right, Inara, Grover, Khan, Bomb King, Ashe, Barrack, and the Genos to try and round things out before they end up picking their potential last character here. But of course, Penta are going to be able to pick their last one before Sour Team can. But you've got the Luminary buff. You've definitely got control. And with the Bomb King and the Ashe and the Genos, you definitely have control of Keep. There are a lot of things it is that you can do. So our team's team can be very, very flexible as they can play from either or. But the Cassie Victor to round things out, how do you feel about that against what Sour Team has drafted so far?
I was about to say that I think they have the better outside of Keep comp. They have the better church side comp for sure. Having double backline means they can lock down multiple choke points at once. They'll probably end up putting their Victor back on the platform outside of their fire, kind of the one that watches over the point a little passively. And then they'll have the Cassie playing inside the church, spamming the doorways. That Kinessa, it's an interesting pick. But honestly, Kinessa over Strix on this map, you're basically only picking Kinessa for that over-the-hedge flank.
Yeah.
And that's going to work once.
That's it.
That's it?
Yeah, exactly. All right, okay. Well, so we're both on the same page with the Kinessa then. I'm a little bit hesitant to actually say that Kinessa might have been a very, very solid pick to round out Sour Team's comp. However, on paper, they don't look as great, but we'll only see if they're really doing well in-game.
Sour Team have a pretty contingent draft, I would say. One that the potential is there, but maybe a little bit harder to execute, Gore.
A lot of it is going to kind of depend on the Kinessa. Again, seeing her over Strix is not something that's going to happen too often. But I feel like some teams are kind of recognizing specifically Steady Aim, which I assume she will be running here. And you can see it down there. Hitting a fully charged shot will cause your next fully charged shot within 7 seconds, so you got a pretty decent window to deal 30% more damage with a Luminary boost. You can go ahead and tack that to maybe 45% more damage on that shot. And with a headshot on Cassie, on Victor, honestly, maybe even on Grover, it might be a one-shot kill. It's definitely going to be a lot of damage to deal with and kind of cope with.
Whoa.
But that's where the issue lies.
What is that flank? Hayes all the way around the backside of Sour Team. really expect that from the Cassie if he's able to stay alive here. This is disastrous for Sour Team. What a play from Penta, what a play from Hayes, and what a start for the blue team.
So it's one thing for him to make that flank and kill off the sniper. It's another thing for him to stay back there, what seems like uncontested, with no one turning around to deal with him. Jinos had him in a void grip. They know Hayes is back there. And by the time Bomb King turns around, it's too late. He's been dropped down. The CC's not there. He's able to find the kill. That was a gorgeous flank.
Yeah, what a play. What a way to start this game for Penta. Get a little bit staggered on Bright Marsh, but things looking better, at least at the beginning here. On Stonekeep, you have the first blood as the overtime begins. Out attempted from Perdot, but Hayes continues his onslaught. Cleans up the sniper one more time. Great shots onto William Birkin. Overtime meter expiring, and Penta strike first.
Yeah, it's 4-0 right now for Hayes is incredibly good. These 4 kills that he's been able to pick up have been solid as they've come through. 2-0 and 3 for Slop as well. Can't not mention him having a pretty solid game. It's just Hayes making the flashier plays, going deeper into the back line, causing a lot more trouble for Sour Team. And they just don't know how to deal with it. They don't know where to put the pressure. I mean, he's 1 to 2 shotting anybody who has been able to kind of put on there. 2 deaths for Perdot, 2 deaths for Spady. They just can't deal with this Cassie.
That's a scary thought, because once you get that kind of momentum, that rhythm found, it is so hard to deal with the Cassie. And Corio is going to take advantage of some great damage put out by Hayes here. One last shot gets him another kill. Onto William Burke and assert dominance down from Sheepa. It's just enough to maybe delay this out a little bit. It's going to get the respawns back in from his team, but assert dominance expires. Overpower connects from Corio. Off the map goes Perdot. Payload moving its way on in. Ineffable looks for the through time and space, doesn't grab it. Poppy bomb backwards from Uber Spady. Doing a good job of staying alive down on the low ground. Spends his dome shield for it, but with 1 minute and 13 seconds left, Gore, I don't know. They might just be delaying the inevitable.
Yeah, I don't think they care about that dome shield at all here on Penta. I think that's one that gets dropped down to try and stay alive, try and delay to let your team respawn, and then you watch as your health bar melts afterward anyway.
Yeah, this payload is going to complete its march. Killing spree from Ovim seals it. And right back to the form of the first 2 maps goes Penta. They're up 2-0 here, and here's your flank from Hayes.
Now, Kresnik was saying that an over-the-hedge flank from Kinessa, which is specifically if you stand on a certain spot of the map, you throw your teleporter, you can go kind of and trade sides, end up in a similar position to move forward like Hayes did here, and you only get 1.
Yeah.
Hayes only gets 1. That 7-0 and 5 is great, but you only get that flank once. I think you can try to get back there again.
Right.
And if Sour Team are not expecting it, then they're doing something wrong. But they only got 2 kills that entire round, so they're definitely off kilter right now. Which means that if you make it work a second time, then Hayes is just going to continue that lead. But yeah, definitely an adaptation this time around.
That's a wild amount of aggressiveness, kind of the exact opposite. Hayes can't even leave base. Sheepa, Uber Spady with the complete dive. And now they're around the back of Penta, who are all caught up in this church side. Barrage used. Uber Spady into the King Bomb, looking for a couple of stuns. Gonna drop down, grabs the insta-gib onto Bolka, double kill onto Slop, and what an answer from Sour Team.
I mean, that was just gorgeous. The amount of pressure that they were just like, you know what?
It's gotta
Cassie,
be tilting.
We don't like you. And we want you to know we don't like you. And we want you to know that it's personal.
Yep.
Like, this is not just a, oh, hey, you're playing Cassie, we don't like you. We don't like what you've been doing to our team. And dedicating all of that to get rid of Hayes at the beginning. Unfortunately for them, though, they've dedicated a lot to getting that 81%. And now, I mean, assert dominance is still there, which I think is perfect for trying to recapture
but an overpower
reclaim this ground. But yeah, there's a lot on the other side that could cause some trouble.
He uses it first. Did he catch out Ash? Looks like he did use the overpower onto the Ash, but wasn't able to get the kill. He does get it onto Uber Spady, so maybe it was the Bomb King that ended up getting caught. Sheepa gets the kill onto Slopodopolis. Assert dominance dropped down from him. Perdot looking to make a difference in this fight.
Ooh.
2 shots, 2 kills from Perdot. The Kinessa keeps Sour Team in it. May have just won them their first point on Stonekeep.
Ineffable little flavor kill in the middle of all that with a nice ult being able to connect. And even though they kind of used ults in an odd fashion, odd order there in some of the trade-offs, Penta, that early game flank causing Hayes to not be there for that first 81% of the fight. Definitely helped out Sour Team, opened up the door, and is letting them march this one forward. If they can keep up that amount of aggression, then they could potentially tie this up 2-2 right now.
This is big for Penta as well. Move yourself to one final point to win the game. Sour Team feel kind of comfortable. Corio, look how aggressive he's getting now. Throws Sheep up and over. Bolka gets the long-range shot onto Uber Spady. Hayes is here to help. Sheepa's not much longer for this world. Grabs a kill onto Corio, funnily enough, before going down. I didn't catch what streak Corio was on, but could make a difference ult charge-wise, is 89% for Sheepa. Corio has 3 deaths. I don't know how many of those kills and assists were before that third one was added. But at any rate, he got to go back to base for free and spend himself some credits.
On the side there. One good play from Bomb King. Even Ashy or Sheepa getting up to the high ground and staying alive could absolutely kind of break base and allow this payload to start moving forward. Barrage is going to get forced out. He's going to find some damage, but he maintains 20%, doesn't fire that last shot. Try and keep them locked up. Well, Hayes is in a good position on a 3 streak once again. Might be able to start building this back up from the ground up.
That's some good healing from Bolka, but not enough to keep Hayes alive, and Bolka falls for his troubles as well. Dome Shield used way far back from William Birkin. Not going to have that to contest this payload as it moves forward. I mean, maybe just stalling to save his life, but with 45 seconds left, I didn't quite see the interaction, but not sure if you needed to use the Dome Shield kind of back in that far corner.
Definitely, again, feels like these have been thrown out more of a save my life moments than they've been thrown out as reclaim the ground, or what we typically see out of it. I also want to give shout outs to Corio. I don't know how much of it helped, but he was timing his shield with shots from the Kinessa. So he'd hold it up, take the shot, drop it. Walk, hold it up, take the shot, drop it. Like, he was just kind of min-maxing how much you could have there and making sure he got the most bang for his buck on that shield.
He get clipped by the through time and space, not enough to get the kill. Slappadopoulos first to drop. It's important to look at here. You're not going to have Victor for 5 more seconds, and that's going to give Sour Team a lot of space to move themselves forward. That high ground Victor would have been impactful on the defense. Too many walk into the range of Uber Spady's AoE shots, and he grabs himself a double, looking for one more. He's going to find it. Delayed triple. Sour Team inching their way in, and they're on their way to tie in this game, keeping themselves alive.
Grumpy Bomb goes out, and that's exactly what you need in that moment. Team pushing it in, and that Grumpy Bomb is just a little zones. Stay up on the high ground or jump down into, well, the death pit that is around the payload. Either way, it's going to be uncomfortable. And what was 7-0-5 has turned to 8-4-10 there for Hayes. It was probably the biggest discussion of the first round, overtaken quickly by Uber's Payday, the biggest discussion of the second round. And now the question will be how Penta adapts to Sour Team's adaptation. Again, this game is just rounds on rounds on rounds. How he approaches this fight could replicate what we saw out of Penta at the very beginning, could end up seeing what we just saw out of Sheepa and Uber's Beatty, where they rush him down and do not let him accomplish anything.
Well, slash lines are still in favor of Penta, but I think that's just a testament to how dominant their first 2 points were here. Looking like a traditional start here. Back on Banana is Slappadopoulos on the Victor. Pushed back, Hayes down in church. King Bomb from Uber Spady gonna get used here. Rolling down to the low ground, didn't find much. Actually trying to get himself out alive, unable to do so. Corio grabs the kill. Assert dominance, rings down from Sheepa, but Whirlwind from Bolka is gonna keep Penta alive just for a moment. Now before William Birkin grabs the kill, Barrage could be impactful here, and he's looking to find some damage.
I'm gonna need a lot more, and that's exactly what I wanted to see. Slop getting his name in this list on the right side of the kill feed, being able to pick up a little bit more, causing a lot of damage, and finding a good barrage. He's definitely setting his team up. But it's a low percentage game as of right now. It's 15-3. They're just now getting onto the objective and being able to kind of peel it away from Sour Team's control.
This is a war of attrition that Penta finally won. Sour Team have the Dome Shield through time and space as well, but those are the only two that are really close. A couple that are halfway there as well. 72% from Penta, still climbing. Where does William Birkin elect to use that Dome Shield? That's the big question. He's going to use it right now, and that's going to push Penta back off of the point. Corio having to elect which direction he faces that shield, and a big stun in onto Ovim is going to lock him up just for a second, but Bulk is the one that's under the most duress right now. Sheepa zoning out 3 members through time and space, connects. Whirlwind not enough, not in time. He's the last member alive here, and Coriel coming back from base, but Sour Team reclaimed the point.
Whirlwind Part 2 was a great movie. Didn't do well in the box office there. Just a little too late for when it would actually be able to, I'm going to say, profit on some of that. 1 and 6 for Bulka. So not coming anywhere near his Undying games earlier. So 96% should be able to get a touch here for Ovim. They're going to be able to get overtime. They're going to keep this going, but he's already precariously low. That Whirlwind feel really good right about now.
They don't have it, though. Ovim, Coriel, couple of kills. Uber Spady with 1 as well, but now it's a 4v3 advantage for Penta. Sir Dominance could be a difference maker. Looks like it just might be. Coriel gets the kill onto William Burke, and a couple of off-tanks are the only 2 left in range to contest. Hayes still alive, and that's the difference maker. It's Penta now looking to zone. Poppy Bomb aggressively from Uber Spady just to get the overtime touch. Nobody else in range, and Penta now 1 point away from ending this set.
And a perfect little swap at the end there. Ovim comes back, dismounts onto the objective while Coriel gets and hightails out of there to make sure that he's not going to get stunned out or killed off. Keeps him in the fight, keeps him alive, and keeps him rolling forward. Also beautiful positioning coming down from Hayes, as well as Slop with a good call on that barrage. Waiting out patiently that assert dominance, and once it was down, that Ashe was melted. She had nowhere to stand.
Some good kind of last-ditch effort there from Sour Team. Now have to try their hand at defense one more time, something that did not look great for them at the start of this game. Credits-wise, I think at the moment we'll be even, but Penta have won one more fight. Yeah, relatively close, but technically the 3 highest in the game. All for Penta. I don't know how many we're able to get back and spend, but it's like Penta, yeah, so you do have some high damage numbers there. So with 1.5 minutes left, even if you lose your life here, if nothing else, you get a trip back and you can really spread out that item advantage.
Being able to come through, get aggressive. Uber Spady finding himself in an interesting spot, and a very monumental one. That overpower is not quite the best call from Coriel. Left him in a vulnerable position. Uber Spady capitalized on it. Slash lines for Sour Team not looking too great, not reflecting how controlling they've been. This has been the, I would argue this is the best game of the set, honestly. Just how back and forth it's been.
Agreed.
And I think if Sour Team win this, it might kind of break the morale of Penta. Penta win this, it doesn't matter, they win the set.
That's right. Don't look to end it here. Could be the tale of 2 outcomes. This is a great spot for Uber Spady. The Whirlwind is going to top off Penta, but you have to use it defensively because this Bomb King is finding so much value for his positioning. Poppy Bomb!
No!
Oh no, just too far. He flies way off the map. He looks down. The range wasn't there. Perdo, though, may have helped save some face. A big triple kill for the Canessa. Misses the last shot for the Quadra. And Uber Spady, he is thanking Perdo right now because that could have been so detrimental to that defense.
15 seconds left there. They are letting out that exhale, right? They were clinched. Their breath was being held. Now they think they can relax a little bit. Still going to be able to touch for overtime here is Penta. But they've already dropped 2 ults. I mean, Seismic Crash and Barrage both going to be down. They don't have a lot unless you're going to full commit to this. You're going to try to hold on to those ults for the next round.
Yeah, I don't know. Perdo with the first shot onto Slopodopolis doesn't spell many nice words for Penta right now. They're going to have to get a trade back, and now Uber Spady is the one getting traded. But remember, the respawn's so much closer for Sour Team right here, and a big double kill from Sheepa I think might just seal up this defense. Depends how fast you can kill off Ovim. It's relatively quick, so now Gourmaz, we're going to a .7. Either Penta take the set, or Sour Team push us to a Game 5.
I think a lot of this, it's going to be some pressure here. Sheepa and William Birkin have done a lot. Perdo on that defense has done a lot. On most of these general engagements, it's been kind of back and forth from him. You haven't seen his name pop up as much as it could in the kill feed. What a beautiful shot there. And again, I'm telling you, a crit Headhunter just makes it easier to crit. A little bigger target to make sure you get that quote-unquote headshot as it comes through. But fully charged shot, steady aim bonus, plus a Luminary. You're not going to live through it if you are one of the squishies. Ovim, Coriel can watch as everybody on the team goes down. And that's where Perdo, I think, his strength is going to be. 89% charge back up on the Headhunter. One good ult during this fight could win this game for Sour Team.
Penta don't have the greatest ultimate economy right now. Maybe the Whirlwind, the Barrage will be quick. Seismic Crash has been huge for Ovim. Everything ready for Sour Team right now. Assert Dominance used, but it looks like countered out immediately by Corio, and it is. Sheepa gets killed. King Bomb rolls on through for Uber Spade. He grabs a stun, but no kill. Slopodopolis peels back into the church side and stays alive. As the Bomb King looks to add a kill onto Corio down onto the low ground, but here's the re-engage from Penta.
And luckily, I love the way they're playing this. Ovim standing on the objective while they're fighting. This is very Na'Vi-esque play. So we'll fight you exactly where you want to fight, but we are going to do it from the objective as well. Yep. And we're going to make sure we have 63% before you can even touch. Fall back, leave the zone for a little bit, and then come back in with now a full charge Barrage and soon to be a Seismic Crash.
Yeah, and the ultimate advantage now way in the favor of Penta. Sour Team used everything, got very little value, good overpower to counter out Sheepa's assert dominance at the beginning of this round. Ovim now with a big kill. Hayes trying to roll his way out. Void Grip up, rolled out of though. Wow. Solo, 2 members of Sour Team. Seismic Crash kills off 1. Ovim trying to retreat back to the point now. They're gonna round out 72%. Whirlwind is the next ultimate that you can maybe expect to get used here, but at 87%. Penta are in a great spot, just need one last zone. William Birkin onto the retake. He gets killed though. It looks like Penta, as overtime begins, may be able to run away with it. Sheepa with the last-ditch effort gets tossed way off of that one. The Whirlwind's going to top off the health bars. Penta's going to run away with the game, and Penta is going to win this set.
That was just gloriously played again. A lot that I see in that last point fight from Penta that reminds me of Na'Vi, which is a good compliment to have coming into it. Very, very good stylistic terms of play. It's just Ovim, stand on the objective, do whatever you can. He doesn't have Seismic Crash at the beginning of the round, so he knows he's not going to impact up top as much. Does what Inara does best. Stand on the objective and don't die for a little while. And then with the re-aggression, Hayes leaves 2 targets nice and low, throws out the Seismic Crash to get a kill, kind of keeps it perpetually staggered there for Sour Team.
Well, it's a good fight back from Sour Team in this set, and it's a long one, so you're going to see some high damage numbers here. Almost everyone from Sour Team above 100,000. Maybe more important damage from Penta, and you always have to look at the healing numbers. When one team has clearly higher damage numbers, and you look at healing, you get 8,000 or 9,000 from Coriol, which nothing to be scoffed at, but then 40,000 is the separation between Bolka and Ineffable, so that's a big difference maker here.
I also think it's interesting, it was like 49 damage between Perdo and Uber Spady. That was the difference in their numbers. They were able to stack up a lot, and there were a lot of moments where either of them came through. But there were 2 truths for the last couple point fights that helped out Penta, and both of them were a King Bomb.
Yeah.
And it was what happened with Uber Spady's King Bomb. The first one, so in round 3, it comes through, doesn't connect on anybody, and he just ends up dying. Last round, he comes through. He does grab Coriol with the stun, but Coriol drops down out of his line of sight. He has to fall back and can't follow up on it. If those connect and maybe find some other kills, I think Uber Spady is able to have not only a better slash line, better damage, but maybe a win for Sour Team here.
And I think Coriol had a phenomenal set, honestly. I mean, so much of the emphasis was kind of on which damage dealers were having better games. But time and time again, if you gave Coriol this con, I feel like this is what you're going to get. I mean, some of that, granted, is just some good damage confirming, or kill confirming, rather. But the aggression, the overpowers hitting, timed right, everything seeming to be working for Coriol this game.
And very different and drastic. So games 1, 2, and 4 looked like this. Game 3 on Atlas, it wasn't there.
Different.
And I really don't know what the difference was. Maybe it's practice on Con versus practice on Atlas, how much you play one versus the other. But you can tell comfort on Con and very aggressive, especially on that last map. A very big deal for him to stay alive in a lot of those initial engagements and point fights.
And that's a good look for Penta, able to win over Sour Team in 3-1 fashion. A little bit more convincing, as we point out, in the first couple of games. But they seal things up nonetheless. Going to take a quick break, but when we come back, you're going to have your #1 seed in all business going up against One Trick Pony. Should be some fun. Don't go anywhere.
Alienware, the official PC provider of the Paladins Miami.